Can we just take a moment to appreciate this cake? Because every time I walk into Whole Foods, this is the dessert that tests my self-control. And instead of buying another one, I challenged myself to make it at home. And honestly, I was pretty impressed with how it turned out. So let's get started. First, we're gonna cream together our oil and our butter and then add our sugar until it's nice and fluffy. Trust me, this step makes a big difference in the final texture of your cake. And now that the sugar and the butter is all nice and creamy, I'm gonna go ahead and take some time to scrape the sides of my bowl. And to help lessen the chance of getting eggshells in my cake, I cracked my eggs in a separate dish and added my eggs in one at a time. Well, kind of. I was impatient and dumped them all in there, but the cake still came out real nice and smooth and moist. Next goes the vanilla and almond extract. And I don't know about y'all, but the second vanilla hits the batter, my whole kitchen starts to smell like something good is about to come out the oven. Now I'm taking all of my dry ingredients, getting them all combined into one bowl and mix them together. Then I'm going to begin alternating my dry ingredients and my milk, doing a little bit at a time. This is one of those little baking tips that's worth taking your time with because it helps keep the batter soft and tender instead of overmixed. By this point, I was already getting excited because the batter looked exactly how I wanted to. That's always a good sign. Now it's time to get these layers into the oven, and I'm not gonna lie, waiting may be my least favorite part. Once that timer starts, I become the person who's checking the oven every few minutes, like somehow that's gonna make the cake bake fast. Before they go in, I like to divide my batter as evenly as I can between the pans. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but getting them close to the same amount helps your cake layers bake more evenly and makes stacking them later so much easier. Once they're done, I let them cool completely before moving on. I know it's tempting to start decorating right away. I too get impatient, but trust me, letting them cakes cool all the way is worth the wait. It makes frosting so much easier and you'll end up with much cleaner layers. I didn't get clips of the raspberry syrup, but you will need some set off to the side cooling. Now on to the Chantilly frosting. I think this is the part everyone looks forward to because it's what gives the cake that signature Whole Foods flavor we love. I'm adding everything to the mixer and I'm letting it do its thing. The hardest part here is being patient because you don't want to rush it. You want the frosting to become light, fluffy, and smooth without over mixing it. Watching it transform into this silky, fluffy frosting is one of my favorite parts of making this cake. You can actually see it coming together, and that's when I know we're getting close. Once it reached the perfect consistency, I knew it was finally time to start building the cake, and honestly, that's when all the fun begins. It's time for one of those little steps that makes a big difference. I'm brushing each layer with homemade raspberry syrup. It adds moisture and gives every bite of fresh raspberry flavor that pairs perfectly with the Chantilly frosting. I'm also adding a generous amount of Chantilly frosting, making sure to spread it all the way to the edge. You don't have to rush this part, just take your time and let the frosting do its thing. Watching all these layers come together is so satisfying. After all the mixing, baking, and waiting, this is the moment where it finally starts looking like the Chantilly cake we all know and love. I don't know about y'all, but this is usually the point where I start getting really excited because I can finally see the cake coming together. And just like that, it's finally done. This cake is so good. I hope this encourages you to give it a try. You don't have to be a professional baker to create something beautiful. Just take your time, trust the process, and have fun with it.